be reading from Simanaha Siksa, Splendid Instructions to the Mind by Raghunath Das Goswami. And today we will be embarking upon the verse number 7. I will try to read. I don't know. I'm not a learned person to sing in that meter. So I'll just read it. Pratistasta drusta swapache ramani me rudinatet katham sadhu prema pusti suchir etan manumanaha sadatvam sevasva prabhudaita shamantam atulam yathatam niskasya tvaritam ihatam vesayati saha. As long as the unchaste, dog-eating woman of desire for prestige dancing in my heart, how can the chaste and pure lady of love for Krishna touch it? Therefore, O mind, you should always serve the incomparable, beloved devotees, commander of Krishna's army, who will immediately throw out the unchaste woman and establish upon the pure lady of love in the heart. So there are beautiful, some pictures are there, and the message is written below. So there are some gopis and tiger is there on the table, and there is one lady, unchaste lady. So it says, as long as the unchaste, dog-eating woman of desire for prestige dancing in my heart, how can the chaste and pure lady of love for Krishna touch it? Then there is one couple has been shown with the love shrine. The promiscuous woman dances with her illicit lover, deceit. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhajan Darpan commentary on this verse. This verse answers any doubts about why a person who has given up material enjoyment may still have deceit in the heart. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving the meaning of this verse. The desire for prestige is an unchaste dog-eating woman. Pratishta is the desire or hope for honor. Even though one may have dispelled the other anarthas, unwanted things, it is not easy to uproot pratishta. It nourishes and generates the other forms of desire, not desire, deceit. This desire for honor is the root of all other anarthas. But since it is never able to recognize its own fault, it is shameless. Fame is like a dog flesh, and one eager for such fame is called drustva sapacha ramani, a dog-eating promiscuous woman. What a wonderful Acharya is bringing out all the points. In the previous verse, the three types of sadhaka were explained. Each type demonstrates the desire for pratishtha in a different way. A swanishta sadhaka wants to become renowned as a religious, benevolent, and sinless. A parinishta sadhaka hopes to be known as a devotee of Vishnu or as a knower of spiritual subject matters and as detached. And a Nirupeksha sadhaka wants to be known as spotless and renounced, as the master of the conclusion of the Shastra, and as having a perfect understanding of devotion. As long as one maintain a desire for honor, pratishtha, deceit, kapat will also remain. And until one is free from deceit, one cannot obtain saintly people's pure love. Haribo. How nicely it is written. I don't know how difficult it would be for the spiritual master. I remember one time I think His Holiness Rama, but Swami Maharaj was even reluctant to take the sannyas order of life because he was thinking, Maharaj, that people will bow down to me and that's not good for my healthy devotional life. But then I think one of the God brother mentioned to Maharaj that anybody offers any respect, right away pass on to a spiritual master because it doesn't belong to us. And if you keep that mood, then there is no problem. So then Maharaj accepted the sannyas. So how careful devotees are to protect their devotion. Suchira sadhu prema, pure love of God. Srila Rupa Goswami state, Samyan masnita shvantu mamutvatisyan kitaha bhavahasa eva sandratna buddhi prema nigatyate. When bhav condenses and intensifies, it softens the heart completely. So if your heart is still like a steel frame, you know where we are. And one becomes filled with great attachment and possessiveness toward Krishna. That intense love is called prema, love for Krishna of a feminine nature. By learned scholar, it mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 140. Now there is a picture with the love symbol and a lot of some sannyasis are there with the dandas and a lot of them. And the one couple maybe on a, what do you call it? Not the married couple. Is in the front running. The generals of the devotee army cast out the woman and her lover from the heart. Next picture is also, there is a symbol of love, very nice, and then Krishna is in the center, and that paramour couple is dancing in front of Krishna. So Krishna himself sent the woman and her lover out of the heart. So they are living from the heart of Krishna. And there is a beautiful picture of Tulsi Marani, that beautiful plant. The desire for honor is the root of the plant of deceit and pretentiousness. Haribol. Now, there are wonderful devotees, and one of the devotees is touching the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas. So all three categories of sadhakas, Swanishta, Parinishta, and Upanishta, all these devotees should avoid the desire to enjoy being honored and glorified. Hari Bol. Somehow or other, in my life, I'm not trying to show me off or anything, but I didn't read those things, but I know that when I give up my presidency for 28 years, people will speak something, and I want to avoid, and I was looking for the time frame. And Krishna is so kind, he bring the COVID-19. It gave me the best opportunity to resign voluntarily from that position, so nobody can say anything. Hari Bol. This is the next picture is the wonderful palace, and at the gate, one lady is standing at the doorstep. The chaste lady of spiritual love entered a clean heart. Only when the desire for pratishtha is cast away does one's whole heart become softened. Otherwise, it is not possible. Prabhu Daita Atula Samanta, powerful, incomparable commander of Sri Krishna. The meaning of Prabhu Daita is a pure servant of Krishna. The word Atula indicate that there is no comparison to such a servant who is a Samanta, a special commander of the Lord. The rays of the Lord's internal pleasure potency are always reflected in the heart of such a devotee. This potency can very easily flow and accumulate in the heart of another individual, which will cast away any misgivings and help pure love to grow there. This flow of spiritual potency can happen through the pure devotees. These are the different processes. How you can get this is now explained. One, by getting the pure devotees embrace. They should hug us. Second is to get the dust from the lotus feet. Third one is their leftover food that we can take as a remnants, prasada. And other one is the beautiful instructions. So these are the four things will transform that pleasure potency that they carry in their heart, and it will get implanted in our heart if we follow these four processes. And it says, Aradhanam sarvesam Vishnur Aradhanam param Tasmat parataram devi tadyanam samarchanam. Of all kind of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is the best. Recommended more than worship of Vishnu is worship of the Vaishnavas. So nice that we see the scripture recommend that we should worship the Vaishnava. At the same time, scripture also advising us to be careful when somebody worship you. Otherwise, downfall is there. So I think we will now read. Let me mark it down where I have it. I think it's easy, but just to make sure, because our memory is so weak. And that's why we have to keep out in the Kali Yuga. So we will dwell in the life of Srila Prabhupada. We are reading from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, volume number 4. And the chapter title is India, Dancing White Elephants. I'll read one paragraph that we read yesterday, always nice to bring, but I think the topic will be different. It may be not that much connection, so I think we shouldn't waste the time to read that paragraph. We will start the new reading. One afternoon, Prabhupada and his disciple went to see the famous Golden Temple of Sikhs. I was there, and it's so nice. Throughout the night, you see so many people, and they feed millions of people. And but you have to cover your head, You cannot go with your bare head. So they provide all these handkerchief and the cloths to cover your. But it was very pleasing to mind and heart to see the devotees giving some service and become sincere in the devotion. A guide took them around and answered Prabhupada's question. Sikh businessmen, the guide explained, maintain the temple and its expenses. And when I was going for the Char Dham Yatra, we have to take a train from Surat to Hardwar directly. But it's like a local. Some part of the journey becomes so local. Every station they will wait. And I have one Punjabi Sikh family with me. And it is so happened that they have husband, wife, and two girls were there. And the girl, they were going to take part into some Olympics, some gold medal she was expecting. And we have very nice established the relationship that on a regular basis we exchange through the WhatsApp. And Prabhuji said, when you come, I think they live near the Chandigarh. There is a small town, and Prabhuji has invited me that please come when you come to India. Very wonderful couple and very well behaved to two daughters. So Sikh businessman, the guide explained that maintain the temple and its expenses, like our Jayananda Prabhu. The Sikhs pride themselves in the assertion that no one in Amritsar goes hungry. I witnessed that. They serve full prasadam throughout the night day. And they daily feed dal and chapati to 10,000 people. This interested Prabhupada. See, this is the quality of a devotee, is to see good in others. But because of our immaturity, we always feel puffed up and we say, oh, why they do this? We do much better. He's gone. But Prabhupada is different. And he observed their massive operation. He watched the group of men rolling chapatis, flipping them deftly through the air onto the giant griddle, while other men using long paddles turned the chapatis, held them briefly over the hot coals, and then placed them in stacks. Good. This is how to distribute prasadam, unquote, Prabhupada said. Prabhupada signed the guest book as, quote, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, and under religion he wrote Krishnaite, and under comments he wrote very spiritual. Prabhupada and his disciple visited Ram Tirtha Sarovar, the lake where in a bygone age the great sage Valmiki had his ashram there. The terrain surrounding Ram Tirtha Sarovar was dry and rocky, and vegetation was sparse. As they stopped at the beautiful bathing ghat, its steps leading down into the lake, the devotees were in a jubilant mood, happy to be on a field trip with their transcendental Father and Teacher. The peaceful lake and the beautiful God seemed an ideal setting for being with Srila Prabhupada. The devotees who knew little of Lord Ram listened intensely as Prabhupada began to tell some of the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Lord Ramchandra. During the last days of his earthly pastimes, Prabhupada said, Ram banished Sita, his wife and eternal consort. Pregnant and alone, Sita sought shelter at the ashram of Valmiki, where she soon gave birth to a son, Love. Valmiki created another son for Sita from straw and named him Kush. When Sita learned that Ram was sending a challenge horse throughout the world, she instructed her son to catch the horse. In this way, she concluded that they would capture their father and bring him before Sita. Unfortunately, while the boys were away on their mission, they learned that Lord Ramchandra had departed from the world. Grief-stricken, they returned to Valmiki. And to mitigate the boys' anguish of separation, Valmiki sent to them Ramayana, the transcendental narrative of Lord Ram's activities. One day, as Sita was out walking, the ground opened before her, and she returned into the earth from which she had appeared. These events Prabhupada explained as he stood with his followers by Ram Tirtha Sarovar had happened no less than 800,000 years ago. For the devotees, it was as if Prabhupada had opened a new door to the spiritual world. How intently they must be listening. The organizers of the Vedanta Sammelan repeatedly asked Prabhupada and his party to play a larger part in the Pandal program. The scheduled discourses were mostly on Mayavad philosophy. God is impersonal. All religious paths are equal and lead to the Supreme One. All is one. We are all God. Such dry speculation could not hold the public attentions. And the Sammelan organizers daily requested the devotees to hold kirtan in the pandal. But with so much other preaching, Prabhupada preferred holding program of his own in private homes around the city. A devotee asked Prabhupada about a Mayavadi slogan he saw posted, Tattvam Asi, with the English translation underneath, you are that too. This was a famous saying of the impersonalist, who imagined that the living entity is God. Prabhupada said he explained elaborately the distinctions between God and the living entity and told how God, when he appears, displays certain unmistakable characteristics that identified him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Quote, These yogis will just talk and talk Vedanta, unquote. Prabhupada says, quote, it is simply mental speculations and they never come to any conclusions. They will go on speculating for years and lifetimes, but we will realize God simply by eating, unquote. And from the plate of prasadam before him, he took a sweet and popped it into his mouth. In the midst of his activities in Amritsar, Prabhupada continued to think of his spiritual children in various places throughout the world. And he regularly wrote them. To the devotees in Calcutta, he wrote, quote, I'm very much anxious to hear what you are doing there, and if you have made any life members by these times, unquote. He asked them to register ISKCON with the government and try to establish a permanent center there. To his disciples in Bombay, he wrote, quote, I'm very anxious to know your situation, whether you have removed to the Rama temple or where you are stationed now. To Kurandara Prabhu in Los Angeles, he wrote as follows. I hope everything is going on well with you in our Los Angeles World Headquarters. Please send me a report of your general activities. I think was the standard, and that's the reason when I became a TP, Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked me to send him. At that time, there was no phone. Even telegram that came little later, even. So only correspondence, you send the report through the mail. And I used to write like a 7-8 pages every quarter. And Gurudev really appreciated. We have to follow them what they ask us. Simply try to please them in any way. And also your governing body commission activities. Please offer my blessings to all the members of your temple. And how is the deity worship being carried out? Replying to Upendra in the Fiji island, Prabhupada wrote as follows. Regarding worship of demigods, because I went there and I think that's the reason Tamal Krishna Maharaj has made a wonderful video in Fiji island. I highly recommend to see. If the new people come to the temple, we used to give them this video, and that will clear out all the doubts about worshipping demigods. It was a fantastic video, very strong, but very profound and instructive. When you get a chance, and if you have not seen that video, I highly recommend. You will enjoy that. So regarding the worship of demigods, the whole Hindu society is absorbed in this business. So unless our preaching work is very vigorous, it is very difficult to stop them worshipping demigod. Haribol. How Prabhupada is seeing the situation, what each center need to improve. They have the transcendental vision. And to Bhavananda in New York, Srila Prabhupada wrote, please conduct the Sankirtan program regularly, and that will give me great pleasure. Regarding our new temple in Brooklyn, Krishna has given you a very good chance to show him. Haribol. Now the topic is changing. October 30, 1970. After 10 days in Amritsar, Prabhupada was on the train heading back to Bombay. He rode in a small 5-class compartment with Guru Das, while the rest of his disciples rode in another part of the train. Prabhupada's car, being close to the locomotive, caught soot from the engine smoke stack until he was soon flagged from head to foot with small black particles. Those locomotives at the time were running through the coal. Yamuna Devi is explaining this in her own word as follows. We were traveling between Amritsar and Delhi, and I decided to go to see how Srila Prabhupada was doing. If there was anything he wanted into the parentheses, because sometimes when the train stopped, he would ask for a devotee to purchase fresh fruit and other things from the vendors in the train platform. Parenthesis over. So Kausalya and I made our way through several cars to Prabhupada first class compartment. He was lying back on several pillows with one knee up, looking like a monarch. He had a beautiful smile on his face. We paid our obeisances and Srila Prabhupada looked at us with a twinkle in his eyes. Quote, is there anything hot to eat? Unquote, he asked. What do you mean? I said. Do you want me to get your lunch? Srila Prabhupada. No, he said. Not that. Some rice, some hot rice. I said, what do you mean, Srila Prabhupada? From the train? He said, well, no. If you can make me some hot rice, unquote. I said I would. I had no idea how I was going to prepare hot rice for Srila Prabhupada. But Kausalya and I found our way to the kitchen. Nobody was there, only two men dressed in a black turmeric stained shorts, standing over the coal stove smoking cigarettes. I didn't know how to speak Hindi, but I said the best I could. My Guru Maharaj wants some chawal, some hot rice. The men laughed at us as if we were crazy. And so I thought we had better find someone who would give us permission. But when we found the manager of the restaurant, he said, no, impossible. You can't cook in the kitchen, unquote. I said, I'm sorry. This is for my Guru Maharaj. There is no question of choice. I have said to him that I will fix rice and I have to fulfill this. But again he said, no, it is impossible. So I went and found the conductor of the train and explained the situation to him. Quote, if I can't do this for my spiritual master, I said, then I might as well jump off the train. The conductor took us very seriously and said, of course, you can fix whatever you like in the kitchen, unquote. Haribol. So he brought us back to the kitchen and told the head of the kitchen, as well as the head of the restaurant, that he was giving us permission. The coal stove was gigantic, and I was completely unfamiliar with it. All sorts of aluminum pots and dishes were hanging around the kitchen. We cleaned out one of the pots as best as we could, boiled the water and put in the chawal. We prepared a gigantic platter of very hot rice with butter, fresh lemon, salt, and pepper, and carried it through the train to Prabhupada's compartment. Quote, here is your rice, Srila Prabhupada, I said as we entered. And his eyes lit up and opened wide. He gave a huge grin. Quote, "Oh, my goddesses of fortune have come," he said. "They have brought me my rice. Thank you very much. This is just what I wanted." He ate so much from this huge plate. He took a little kachori and puri with it and a little pickle, and he was very pleased. Haribo. That night, the train pulled into the New Delhi stations with its queuing crowds of passengers, hawking vendors, refreshment counters, newsstands, beggars, and coolies in their dingy red jackets. The stopover would be 20 minutes. Suddenly, a man appeared in Prabhupada's compartment, identified himself as D. Gupta. Although Prabhupada had not met him before, they had corresponded. He was a Delhi man, not especially influential or wealthy, but he wanted to help, offering Prabhupada a box of sweets. He invited him to stay in Delhi. Prabhupada, however, already had other plans and had even wired ahead to notify the devotees in Bombay of his arrival. Prabhupada looked over at Gurudas, who was feeling happy and especially blessed to have this intimate contact with his spiritual master. 12 hours they had spent in the same compartment, eating together, talking together. Just minutes before, Prabhupada had been stressing the importance of farming and explaining how the scarcity of food was due to mismanagement, not to lack of rain or arable land. Guru Das was happy and he was looking forward to the next leg of the journey with Prabhupada, anticipating the scenery and his return to Bombay. Quote, "This man is inviting us," Prabhupada says. "Get down and see what you can do." Get down. There was hardly time to ask questions or discuss what to do in Delhi. The train would be leaving immediately. Gurudas said he would stay, but he would need help. He and Prabhupada agreed on a team. Yamuna, Gurudas' wife, Giriraj, Durlabh, Brush, and Gopal. Gurudas ran to tell his wife and the brahmacharis the news. What time it is? I think we went over today. Haribol. They should be punctual. Somebody should have told me. So with those thoughts, we should end our reading class. And before the devotee leaves, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the desk of the lotus feet by pronouncing the prayer Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavane Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So then I would like to continue the advantage of doing the gardening. Prabhupada also wants to do the farming as we read. So one of the other realizations that Manoj Prabhu has asked me to share. So when you do the gardening, you will know how intelligent these other living beings are. Unless you do this gardening, how would you know how the plant react in different situations? You have to witness these things. Like giving you that example. If you put the tulsi plant, like I have bring another tulsi plant because other one is growing all of them so big. So I have bring that small one now. And within short time you will see that that tulsi will also become big. And I have so many tulsis growing in my yard everywhere. I don't know how many I can take care of them. So that tulsi plant or any other plant, they always, you turn them around because what they do usually, that they turn toward brightness. They don't want to live in darkness. They always turn toward the sunshine. If you have noticed, if you have not, then I suggest that see your plant leaning toward the sun, you change the direction, opposite directions. And within couple of days, you will see that if the plant is facing this way and sun is facing this way, your plant will turn in couple of days like this. What should we learn? We should look for the brightness, not the darkness. Krishna is so beautiful. And as soon as we turn toward the light, ignorance, everything will be removed. So we should say that the plants are more intelligent than the human being. Don't get proud. They have so much that we can learn from them. They never attach to the darkness. And they also very jubilant. When you give proper light, they grow very nicely, beautifully. But in Kali Yuga, there are, when I get some plants, I always would write to read how to grow them nicely because there is always an instruction. They put it into the pot. And if you want to grow that plant nicely, we need to know how much sunshine they need. Did they take direct sunshine? How many hours a day? Or do they need only partial sun? How much water they need? Do they need everyday watering? Or they don't need that much water? We need to know all the details. So what we learn from gardening, that we have to attend to all the small details to make your plant grow nicely. So if we want to grow our plant of devotion nicely, we have to also apply all these small things so we can keep our plant of devotion strong and grow nicely. This is some of the realization I have doing the gardening. And I think every day it may come in my mind. I will keep on sharing. But I have a lot of love for these plants, one thing you will see, that as we turn from the gross entity to elevated personality, and at the top we are human being, we lose so many good virtues. That still we need to learn from the other living entity that they are so powerful. Like other day I was watching the dog. They are, one of the friend who traveled with us, and she bought that one gift for somebody, her relatives. And it was glass, and she was feeling that she may break her backpack. So she requested me, Prabhu, can you carry? And I will pick it up when we reach Houston at the airport. And I warned her that maybe, I may forget to give you. And then she said, well, then you accept as a gift from me. And that's what it happened. We departed from the Houston airport. Her daughter came to pick her up. And I have to go outside to wait for my son-in-law to pick us up. And we forgot. And then a couple of days after, I called her. and tell her that you have to come. So she came other day and she was talking about her dog, that they are very, very loyal to the owner. They will give up their life if danger arises. They won't hesitate to protect. We should learn that for our spiritual master. We should give up our life to please him. Don't consider dog as a dumb living entity. We should learn from them. You know, there I was. I, I, I don't like any animals or anything because this is not clean. That's what Prabhupada says. But we can always dwell on the qualities of those living entity, and we can put into our life that how loyal they are to their guru or their owner. And she was saying that they are so, even though they are animal. I said, how do you know that they would like to go, you know, to evacuate? And then she said that they are very smart. They will go toward the front door and stand there. It gives us the indication that they would like to evacuate, take them outside. How intelligent they are, you know? We consider ourselves intelligence. And I really feel that real intelligence is that I have heard, and still I'm looking for it. If you find something, let me know. But in India, I heard from my father that when the movie come, I don't have that much interest in movie from my beginning, but my friend, he will pay for 15 rupees ticket, he will pay 200 rupees, but he need to see that movie on the first row. So I was living with him. So he sometime will tell me, come with me, come with me. I said, I will sleep. In my whole life, I have never seen any movie awake, either on the TV or in the theater. I go to the sleep. So I told him what the point I was trying to make. Um,
Intelligence, Prabhuji.
that these animals has a lot of intelligence, and everything we learn from it. You just see it how determined. The example is given that when the eggs of the bird was washed away in the waves of ocean, the bird becomes so determined that she said, who are you to take away my children's? I'm going to make you dry. And bird, how much water they can carry in their beak. But she started. And looking at her determination, Krishna came to help. So if we are lacking the determination, we should remember this example, that how determined they knows that they can never be able to dry the ocean. But they think that this is what is required. So we can learn so many good things, like you see uh, every quality that we would like to imbibe in our devotional life, we can learn from animals. Profound qualities they are holding. So we are actually become so proud unnecessarily. And that's the reason we are suffering, because we don't want to go towards the light. We always want to reside in the dark. We want to sleep more. We want to eat more. Look at the animal. Look at the bird. We should learn from the bird. I have the profound one example that I have cited many times. That just try out this one time. Just have a stack of grain bag, 40-pound bags, couple of truckload. Put it on the side of the street. And then you open just one bag and put some grain on the street. And watch what it happen. First, the bird will come and they will take few grains. And if they have some small children, they may carry couple of grain when they leave. But as soon as the people see so many birds and nobody watching the stack of the grain, they don't come take one bag. They will rent a U-Haul if they don't have a truck. And they will bring the U-Haul to fill it up their truck with all the bags. This is our mentality. We collect so much that we don't need. And we have seen that. This is something that the animal, they don't need the example. They follow nicely. But we human beings, even after seeing this, that everybody lives this world with nothing with them, we always feel short of the thing. Always. And this is what is carrying on our life. We never feel that enough is enough. When the day will come that you feel enough, Krishna has given me enough. Who knows how long we are going to live? We have no guarantee how long. Maybe few seconds, maybe few minutes, hour, or days, or month, or years. But we have to go. And we see everyone leaves the world, and most miserable person are those, they have to leave so much behind them. It will, just do you think that you will not feel the pain when you have to give up everything, including your family member and the wealth that you have, hard-earned money? Yes, lot of suffering. So if you have less, then suffering will be less, because you will see how much it is there, nothing left. And we don't need that much when we live the ritual life, simplify the life. And I think I have posted that some of you may not care to read on our Houston morning. So I posted a beautiful thing which I totally convinced about it. But I'm not forcing anyone to follow, because everyone is a different living being and we have different aptitude. We have different feelings, different decision-making process. But I will just read as something that you can dwell on it. This was written by Dr. Alan Greenberg about the herb, health, and happiness. He wrote, as a retired physician, I can honestly say that unless you are in a serious accident, and that's what I'm keeping my insurance, that some accident happened, then, still I'm dwelling, then maybe what happened, if you don't have the money, what they will do? They will tell you pay every month $20. But I'm paying about close to $800 a month, and I feel wastage of money because I'm not utilizing any facility whatsoever for paying that insurance. But I don't know, my son keep on telling me that, keep that, nothing, you don't know what will happen in that bill. I don't know. But anyway, we should be grateful. Giving you example, yesterday I received the mail from my dentist. The letter was sent on June 23rd, but I received yesterday on July 2nd. And note was that he is closing down he mentioned to me, he's a nice fellow, American fellow, and I choose him. Why? He told me as a dentist that, Mr. Nayak, never ever, even you can pull out the tooth that's so loose, don't pull it out until it fall off on your own. This is original teeth are gems, he said. Never give up. And so many dentists advised me to take it out my bottom teeth, and he saved me, and still I have very strong teeth. So I feel grateful to him. So the letter says, I know that he is closing down, but I don't know that he shut down on June 30th. So the request was I have the balance of $97 because some part the dental insurance doesn't pay. And it says that you must pay by June 30th. So I have his cell phone number. I keep everybody's cell phone number. So I called the doctor and I said, Doctor, I received the letter, but it's overdue. I have $97. You have been so kind to me. I don't want to leave the balance for you. He said, so many people, I cannot go after for the small amount, but you are so nice. And I said, Doctor, what I'm going to do without you because you are so nice. And he said, well, I asked about the, what you call it, who hygienist who clean your teeth. Was so super black lady. I give her the gift. Sometime in the initial stage, she was not accepting. I said, no, you must take it. If you want, I can tell the doctor that I would like to give her some tips. So I asked doctor, do you know, doctor, where your hygienist is going to work for it? And he said, I don't know how stringent laws are. That he said, even though I know I cannot disclose to you, this is the rule something. And I was thinking, all these rule government make, they will dearly pay for all kind of a nonsense thing. But if you go for the naturopathy, they don't want to pay anything because the heaviest lobbyist is pharmaceutical company in Washington, D.C. So they don't want us to leave them. They want to suck us for lifetime to take their medicines.